Welcome to this video on topics for tips which I gave you already in the previous video, how to give a speech without preparation. I have already told you how to practice speaking without preparation, and today I'm going to tell you about how you can speak about different topics, not only the topic which you're familiar with, but with about other topics also. Suppose you get a chance to speak suddenly with no preparation. This is called extempore speech, as I have mentioned already. Impromptu speech. You have gone somewhere and suddenly you've been asked to speak. You are listening to something and suddenly you feel inspired to speak. You have gone for a program at the end of which they ask you for a feedback. Then you have to give a speech without preparation. You have heard the whole program. Now you have to give your opinion as to what you liked and what you didn't. There is no time for preparation. You have to do it immediately. So that kind of speaking without preparation, which needs a lot of practice, and I have told you how to do it, because you might have different types of topics. Something might be a political issue or an issue of human interest. Some might be social or cultural issues. Some might be human issues, and some might be abstract. It might also be a part of your experience sharing. This happens all the time. If you're passing through a difficult phase, you form a group of people who have a similar difficulty. They all go and they share their difficulties. Then, after listening to everybody else, you feel a sense of balance. You feel as though you are not the only person who has this. So keep these in mind. Whenever you come across any point, any idea, or anything interesting, keep that information, keep that bit of knowledge in your mind. Sooner or later, you will find that it can be used somewhere. That is where speech without preparation, or extempore speech, or impromptu speech comes in helpful. Watch the video till the end if you want to hear all the topics which I give you. Topic number 1, anti-corruption. This is a topic everybody is talking about. Anti-corruption. Why is it that there is so much corruption? First, we begin by saying, what is corruption? Corruption is taking something which you have not earned, which you don't deserve at all. Usually, corruption implies taking money in an unethical way. But please remember, that is not the only kind of corruption we have. There can be many other types of corruption also. Suppose you are wasting your time. You have a job which you have to work for 5 hours or 8 hours, out of which 2-3 hours you're doing your personal work. You are not doing anything related to the job for which you're paying. Isn't that corruption? You are misusing your time. It is also corruption when you cheat people, deceive people, not only for money. Deception can be of any other type also. Then that kind of cheating, that kind of deception also falls under corruption. So first we define what is corruption. You have not prepared, so it is an unprepared speech. You need to talk about what is corruption. You can give all these examples as to what is corruption. Then you can give an example or two of corruption if you know of somebody who's doing it. You say that you go to fill petrol in a petrol station. It is unfamiliar to you. You don't go there often. You find that the amount of petrol they have filled in your car or in your bike is less than what they should have given, which means their meter is not properly calibrated. They did not ask you for extra money, but they gave you less petrol. Such an example you can give. Many people might be able to understand the point clearly if you give an example. You say that you are in a hurry to go somewhere. The person whom you have hired to drive you is charging you extra. You are in a hurry, you cannot argue. That person says, you have to give me a tip of 200 rupees. Now, what do? You say, okay, I'm in a hurry, let's go. But that is corruption. That person is charging more than that trip should cost. And that is corruption. You must remember that a person who asks or takes is not the only one at fault. The person who encourages the corruption, I gave that extra money because I was in a hurry, that also is corruption. How should we curb this corruption? The first point is that if we live a life which has some values, then we don't indulge in corruption. We should first cultivate values in the children. We should make society ethical. Then corruption will be good. But the topic is anti-corruption. Then what do we have? We have many departments. In each organization, in government departments, in the whole country, you have specific people, specific officers and departments who are trying to foster anti-corruption. So we have to help them by following their rules and regulations. If we see that somebody else is doing something wrong, it is our duty to protest. That also goes a long way. If somebody is being caught as corrupt and that person again escapes by giving some more bribes, then there the anti-corruption mechanism itself is wrong. So we have to ensure that everything is cleaned up. Then we shall have anti-corruption. We should cultivate the habit of self-respect, that I take only what I deserve, not taking away from somebody else. When we have a mindset which is clear, which has some self-respect and which is proud of honesty and integrity, then we have anti-corruption. Now you have seen one topic. Let me now go on to another very common topic, and that is dowry. Dowry is usually something which is given at the time of marriage as a gift. Now today it has no longer a gift, but it has become extortion. Extortion means taking by force. So if you have the process where dowry has become such a compulsion, then society cannot go forward in a way which is progressive. Example you can give here. For example, I met some girl students who were doing engineering. I said, that's wonderful. Why did you choose engineering? Then one girl said, if I do engineering, then my parents have to pay less dowry if we want an engineer bridegroom. I said, oh my God, that's a terrible thing to do engineering for. So dowry is governing your choice of subject, not your interest or your competence. Then if you ask a boy, why are you doing engineering? Or why are you appearing for civil services? They say that we will get a lot of dowry if we do this. So you can see that dowry has become a social evil. It is no longer a gift. It is no longer given with joy and happiness. It has become a social evil. How to stop it? We need to educate ourselves that gifting is something which is by choice. We call it voluntary. Gifting is not by compulsion. You cannot say, I demand a gift. Gift is never demanded. Therefore, young boys and girls should protest. If they do not protest, if they think that, the girl thinks without dowry I can't get a good match, and the boy thinks this is one easy way of making money or, getting a house or getting other things, that mindset has to change. The whole process should be something which we do not accept. If somebody offers a dowry, that person is as much at a fault as a person who asks for it. Some people feel that if I give more dowry, then I have a social standing. People will say, oh, this person is such a great person that he could afford to give so much dowry. These are all wrong notions which we have to get rid of. Again, we have to educate ourselves, we have to train our minds, we have to become better in order to avoid the system of dowry. Now you can choose another topic which is very, very common, and that is the misuse of technology. Misuse of technology is something which is happening all the time. We hear of scams and frauds only because technology has given that ability. These days, if you try to dial a number, there is a message from the Ministry of Human Resources which says that if somebody calls you and says you can earn easy money, that is a scam. Please do not fall victim to the scam, because you will lose everything which you have. If you share your details, your OTP, your password, etc., those are misused for taking away money from you, for taking away your resources, for taking away whatever you have. So today, technology has many disadvantages also. Technology has wonderful advantages. We can talk about that another topic. But misuse of technology. Misuse of technology, for instance, media, online, social media. Very often social media is misguiding children. There is a lot of child pornography also on social media. Then people are saying you become friends with this or that person. And then, not only children but grown-ups. Then when you accept the friend request on Facebook, you find that person is asking money from all your friends on Facebook. These kind of frauds are happening all the time. The reason is because people who have a lot of knowledge, people who have the ability to use technology are not using it for the benefit of mankind, but they are using it for a selfish purpose. To stop the misuse of technology, first is we have to be very vigilant. Those who are using technology should be careful. We should follow all the rules and regulations. If somebody is trying to scam us, we should be aware before and stop ourselves from being cheated. So every individual has a responsibility. We also have collective responsibility, and we have a responsibility of educating people by saying that if you earn by unfair means, that is of no use. That money will never be useful for you if you earn lakhs and crores by unfair means. Now we can talk about another topic, and that topic is, mental health. I have noted 4 or 5 topics. So mental health is something which is being spoken about lots, especially in older people, people who have retired, people who do not have a gainful occupation, or people who are depressed, youngsters, because they don't have a job or they don't have a good relationship in the family. Recently, we had many suicides because they said that the wife is ill treating the husband wrote a letter or recorded a video and committed suicide. So these are all mental health issues. I remember a young student, a blind student in the hostel, had problems at home because the father married a second time. And this child came to the hostel and committed suicide. Mental health issues. So there are many mental health issues. Not only do we commit suicide, but we kill others. Terrorists, suicide bombers, all these people have mental health issues because they think they are being idealistic. They think they are saving humanity by killing people or by destroying places. But that is not true. They are only harming themselves and harming others. This is not correct. Great ego, misuse of power, these are all mental health issues. We had a great leader, Hitler, but he had mental health issues because he destroyed so many people. He killed and he tortured so many. The whole Nazi problem was a problem which we have today. So, mental health issues are there at individual levels and collective levels, very harmful to society. Therefore, right from childhood, we should teach youngsters to look after their health. Just like we do exercises for physical health, we should do exercises for mental health. Unless we take care of our mental health, we are not going to have a life which is comfortable, a life which is successful, a life which we are satisfied with. Therefore, mental health is very important. Now, one last topic let me talk about related to mental health, good mental health, and that is meditation. Meditation is a training of the mind. Now, you might have secular meditation. It is not related to anything which has religious connotations. For instance, you have a term creative visualization. That is, you close your eyes and you think about something which is pleasurable. In fact, I read somewhere that medical doctors did some experiments where they found that if you have real difficulties, suppose you are lost in a snowstorm, then your creative visualization keeps you alive for a much longer time. If you're lost in the snow, your body becomes cold and you die immediately or after a few hours. The body doesn't retain heat. But suppose you start thinking of a hot cup of coffee or some hot drink which makes your body warm. You think of very thick blankets. You are thinking in your mind, it is not there, you are lost in snow. This experiment, will give life for a longer time. Your mental power will keep your physical organs active. We find that this kind of a mental, meditation happens all the time. You find good students before they are going for the examination, they don't read till the last minute. Last 10 minutes, they close their eyes and they visualize all what they have studied. Then they enter the hall. Secular meditation. When you get the question paper in the hall, read the paper, sit for 2 minutes with your eyes closed, then start answering. Secular meditation. When you are going to appear for an interview, instead of getting stressed out, what you do is you relax and you allow all your body functions to come to a standstill. Your body is absolutely still. Your mind is concentrated on that point which says that you have to perform well now. Whether it is in sports, whether it is in your office, whether anywhere else, this kind of a secular meditation is very useful. Now we come to the next part, and that is spiritual meditation. Spiritual meditation is where you empty your mind of all thoughts. You do not allow your mind to be crowded by thoughts. This is very difficult. It takes years and decades to practice because all the time our mind is busy with thoughts, including when we are, sleeping. We don't know, but the mind is constantly active. Now, to stop that mind from thinking, even for 1 second, is highly powerful. This releases the power of your mind and it allows your mind to perform better. If you are doing spiritual meditation, then you think of positives if you want to think of something. Think of positive thoughts. If you believe in any particular religion, then you think of the symbols of that religion and keep your mind concentrated on that. That also helps because you're not allowing your mind to deviate from positives, from something, one saying, one person, one image, one figure, one concept, all these, only one. Keep concentrating on your mind. Your whole body relaxes. You have to take a posture which is comfortable. Close your eyes, close your ears. Although we don't have any ear lids, we cannot close them. But see that the senses don't distract you. If they distract you, then you are not meditating. So you see, I gave you these few topics of how to speak without preparation. The previous video had all the tips of speaking without preparation. This video had the topics where I have told you, I just selected 3 or 4 topics, before I started recording this. There was no preparation involved. I used whatever knowledge I had throughout my life because I'm an elderly person, so I have a lot more experience than many of you. And I could use those ideas. I did not aim to give you a perfect speech. I did not aim to give you a speech where I have used too many ideas. I have kept it as simple as possible. You go to the previous video, you will find that simplicity is very important. Of course, body language you can't see much because although I'm using some gestures which the camera might catch, my eye contact is only with the camera. I don't have you to keep my eye contact with. But I hope when you watch the video, you feel as though I am with you. You feel as though I am looking at you. So please practice. Write down as many topics as you want and practice with all of them. First, a prepared speech and then an extempore speech. I wish you all the best and thank you.